This is Norfolk, Arkansas. Now, let's see what this building is. Maybe it's the visitor center. No, it should be open.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing?
Great. My name's Karen.
This is the visitor center, I
Yes, sir.
assume.
Yes, sir. I'm Karen. I'm
All
the
right.
neighborhood specialist here. Can I help you with anything today?
I'm just looking around. I just sort of stumbled across this place.
We actually have a really nice tour taking place today. We're part of the sandwiching history event. It'd take with them. Everything here is portable.
And this right here is a trap? Well, the
This-
trap's on top. What's this
That's
box
right.
for?
This is called a provisions box. This is where they would carry any of their sugar, flour, coffee, anything like that
Okay.
with them in their provisions box.
Uh-huh.
This is a double spring and this is a single spring steel trap. The traps were used primarily for these smaller ones that we see here.
Mm-hmm.
The larger animals were hunted with the muzzle loaders.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 36 and a 32 gauge being shown here, as well as the powder horns.
Yes.
The smaller horn held the smaller grain powder that was used in the flash pan. That the flint, the flint here would strike in the flash pan.
Right.
And you can see the little hole that's
Yes.
back here, and that would strike in the powder that you had tamped in with the, and so that's what then would ignite the shock. Going off there, but the guns then, and sometimes this was commonly referred to as a squirrel gun. But this is a 36 and this is a 32. But they would use those for some of the bigger animals like the deer or the bear. Trapping was extremely important to a livelihood. In the early 1800s, the European market for fur, it was in high demand. And the highest demand at that time, the furs that brought the most money were the white-tailed deer,
Deer?
beaver, that's
Yeah.
a large beaver, but beaver
Right.
and bear. Now, the smaller furs were traded, but they were not as in high demand or as valuable. But guys would, sometimes they would contract with companies, sometimes they would work independently. But everything you see here would be portable.
Is this a chair?
Yes, sir.
A folding chair?
Yes, sir, it all folds up, as does the table.
Okay.
This little bag right here is called a possibles bag. So basically anything that would possibly fit that you might possibly need. This is a small tamping tool for rifle that's in here. But whatever you could fit in there. It might be a cold biscuit or a piece of meat to carry with you for the day. I had someone in here the other day say, well, that just looks like a man bag to me. But this was called a possibles bag.
Possibles. And it doesn't, does that attach to?
No,
it?
no,
It's
sir.
just,
No,
it's just a flap.
It's just a flap to hold over, and then you can see
Okay.
the pouches and the pockets within.
You know, I got one like that. It's made out of plastic.
My mother actually has a wooden one like this.
So that's what they copied. The plastic one was copied from that,
Yes,
wasn't it?
but those just fold up. Now I will admit, sir, and I just started here Tuesday, but I've grown up in this neck of the woods, and I have listened to this historian tell us a lot. He tells that they would disassemble their tent structure, their canvas for that, lay it down, and all of this could be put in there, and they had poles, and they either transported it by carrying it, and it has a special name and it's escaping me right now, but they would carry it off of each end like big knapsack type things,
Right.
or they would tie with two poles and just literally drag it behind them like you were dragging a wagon. If they were fortunate enough to have a horse or a mule
they-
of some type, then they would tie it to the saddle to be pulled behind as well. But all of this being portable, even their
including
carpet.
this?
This is called a brazier.
Yeah.
So-
And this was used by the pioneers?
Yes, sir. So definitely portable in its own right.
Right.
Now, so it has a grill on it, which would come up so you could build a nice fire in there.
And then cook
Well
it.
vented with the holes around,
Right.
so it would keep the coals really hot and
Yes,
warm.
yes.
So you had the grill, or you could use your pan on it, or on these dog ears here, you could hang a Dutch oven if needed. Of course, you could cook with the Dutch oven just in an open fire, but you could use it to warm as well.
Wow.
Tin plates. This is rather interesting.
Gourd.
Yeah.
Yep. How about
The
that?
gourd bowl. Bison horn spoon.
What horn?
Bison.
No kidding. Huh.
Now this is a replica. This is not original.
Yeah,
This is
but
an
I
authentic
didn't know
bowl.
they made them out of bison horns. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Of course, if this one had been a cabin setting, you had to have some way to clean your cabin.
That's right. You'd have a broom, homemade.
So you've got your straw bristles and your root handle
Yep.
that are on there.
And you have your.
Of course, your
whiskey.
spirits for medicinal purposes.
That's
only,
right.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
But it did have the alcohol content, so they could use it to, for sanitizing wounds or that type of stuff, in addition to other things.
Yeah, I was
You've
over
got
there.
your canteen or your water jack.
And this is made out of leather.
Yes, sir.
How about that? Well, this is quite a collection here.
It is. It is. I think they've done a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, let's test you. I bet you know these. Let's test you. Okay, so I've already told you that this is a white-tailed deer. I bet you're going to know the rest of them. So this would be...
Raccoon.
Yes, sir.
That's fox.
Nope.
It's a bobcat.
There you
Bobcat.
go. There you go.
This is a fox, right?
It is.
It's a gray fox.
Yes, sir.
This is a otter.
You are spot on. We got some different ones down
And
here.
then-
See, you've got all these, so you don't.
Okay, this right here is beaver.
Yes, sir.
And I love the feel
This
of
one
that.
has been tanned.
Uh-huh.
The inside of the hide. Hey, how are you?
Red fox,
Yes, sir.
raccoon, and this is a muskrat?
Mink.
Mink.
Yeah,
Mink,
yeah,
okay.
You got it. You got it.
Wow.
Can I help you?
I'm here to fix a leak.
Oh, right in here. Come this way, sir.
All right.
Karen, thank you for your help.
Oh, sir, you're welcome.
Visitors over the years. The Wolf family. Even after the county seat moved, the house bustled with activity. Arkansas became a state in 1836, and settlers followed the White River hundreds of miles into the interior of North Arkansas. Thousands of these settlers passed by here, stopped and traded. Others just stopped to rest. As a result, John Jacob's store, blacksmith shop prospered. Post office continued here until the Civil War. As a family home, the Wolf House had many children born and raised to adulthood here. Keelboats were common on the White River during the early settlement years. They ranged in size from 40 to 75 feet and from 8 feet to 12 feet wide. There's the White River there. It is the source of many lakes here in Arkansas. This is a big log cabin here, isn't it? And I like this porch. Here we go. This section right here between the two buildings is called a Dogtrot. The breezeway, often called a Dogtrot, that was created by the vernacular building form, served on an important function both for the courthouse and family home. It catches the breeze off the river, provides shade, and protects from rain and inclement weather. It was also the space where everyone gathered. In courthouse days, notices would have been posted here informing county residents of elections, unclaimed letters from the post office, or land for sale. The Wolf family history relates that Jacob Wolf always kept a barrel of whiskey on the Dogtrot. Serving whiskey was prevalent in the frontier settlements. Politicians used it to secure votes and merchants to attract business. Also noted the type of notch used by the restoration team. Yellow pine logs were harvested from surrounding hillsides. While examining the Dogtrot, it is important to notice the hand-beaded detailing on the ceiling joist and the uniformity and beading of the second-story floorboards. Is this what they're talking about right here? The Dogtrot. Arkansas Historical Preservation Program.
On Friday and being a part of this special tour. I'm the site manager, site historian, and we're developing this property today as the state of Arkansas's newest historic site. We being the Department of Arkansas Heritage, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program. I got some really special and unique history to share with you today. We're going to spend about 30 minutes at the Wolf House. Then we're going to leave the Wolf House and go down to our other historic structure here, the 1832 John Wood Cabin. We just installed new exhibits in it a few weeks ago. So to set this up, the destination was a thriving, upstart frontier community on the White River known as Liberty, Arkansas. Today it's the little town of Norfolk. And our namesake, Jacob Wolf, was instrumental. The culture and the history that has been documented here speaks volumes about how special this place is and how it's a part of our unique historical inventory with the agency. Now, wait, everybody's right here.
Let's go upstairs. This is must be the courtroom.
He wanted the visitor to understand, hey, this isn't Uncle Joe's cabin up there. This is a government building. It's a special place. To highlight that architecturally on the outside of the building, he built the original
John the Jacob Wolf House, a territorial Arkansas courthouse. The Circuit Court of Territorial Arkansas and the Izard County Court met in this room in the early 1830s. Although no records from any of those court sessions have been uncovered, we know that noted Arkansas lawyers attended court sessions here. Wolf family history documents that Arkansas lawyer David Walker, and later served as state Supreme Court, wore buckskin clothes and moccasins while he served as a lawyer in the courtroom. In the 1830s, that attire would have been considered quite typical. In the cold months of the year, the room was originally warmed by a handmade brick fireplace that opened on the south wall. The shuttered window openings provide light and air circulation. The exact arrangement of the courtroom was unknown. When the court was in session, this room would have been packed with men. Women were probably restricted unless they were involved in a case before the court. At night, when the court was adjourned for the day, the men would have spread hides or blanket rolls on the floor and slept here for the night. When you walk across the original floorboards, you are stepping where thousands of frontier Arkansans trod. original materials. Fireboxes on the upper level were handmade brick when stone chimneys replaced the brick chimneys of the late 19th century. These fireboxes were eliminated. Firebox, is this it right here?
The structure retains 80% of its original integrity. We continue to restore it at least 6-8 mile an hour winds comes off of the river. A little bit cooler in here, shady. You have an opportunity now that you're in the middle of the Wolf House to start looking at the architecture, start looking at its construction, even the cobwebs. 80% of this structure retains its original integrity. 90% of these hand-cut, hand-hewn, massive yellow pine timbers are original. All the ceiling joists in the building are original. The floor upstairs in the courtroom is the original floor from 1829, minus a couple of repair spots. Hey, if I was 194 years old, I might have to have a couple of repair spots too, okay? You're experiencing, most importantly, where history happened. This building wasn't moved here, wasn't reconstructed. This is the last remaining structure from the frontier community of Liberty Territorial, Arkansas. It has a compelling presence, even today, up above the White River. Road systems, like Highway 5 out here, underdeveloped at best during this time period. So the primary means of transportation into areas like the Central Highlands of the Ozarks was your waterways. Keelboats, flatboats, paddle wheel steamships came through here and ported and docked below the hill. Jacob Wolf was a territorial legislator. He was elected to the General Assembly in 1826. He represented this part of Arkansas. He was a very astute businessman as well. He got approval from the territorial government to build the county's first courthouse. He owned a mercantile store below the hill here. He owned 2 ferry crossings. And that road over there on the west bank of the river, that's one of the original ferry crossing roads. He owned 2 keelboats. He owned 400 acres of land in the river valley that he harvested each year. He was a master log builder and a master blacksmith. He was the postmaster here. And last but not least, he was a Southern Baptist preacher. So Jacob was Liberty, Arkansas. Okay? Now, let me get ahead of you there. Let's go into the county clerk's office and see what old John P. Houston is up to today. Just follow me in here. When everybody comes in, let's just make a big circle, okay? Kind of circle around, folks.
So this is where the Norfolk River and the White River converged. Some kind of tour going on here. The John Wolf Cabin, 1832. John Wolf, born in Hopkins County, Kentucky in 1806, moved to the upper White River Valley in 1820 with his immediate family, including older brother Jacob Wolf. John married Margaret Livingston in 1826, and they began building a family and a home in the new territory. A Southern Baptist minister and missionary, partial mill owner with father-in-law Robert Livingston, homesteader in the White River Valley. John Wolf did it all. A highly religious man, John found his calling as a preacher and died of pneumonia on August 30th, 1863 at Crowley's Ridge while serving as a chaplain in the Confederate Army. The original cabin you were visiting was constructed 1 mile downstream from Calico Rock in 1832. A spiritual journey. As the Ozark population grew in the 19th century, with the steady influx of settlers from the east, various denominations gained an important place in the new upstart communities. Though larger towns like Little Rock had a diversity of churches, rural areas like the White River Valley instead relied on traveling preachers and missionaries to fuel their religious fervors. Revivals and camp gatherings that continued for a long time, as long as a week, served remote populations as religious and social affairs. Outside of revivals, traveling missionaries would visit settlements and homesteads, preaching and converting before moving on to new territory. John Wolf filled both roles, active in the local Southern Baptist community as a preacher. He also spent most of the year traveling, baptizing, and converting his new believers into the Christian religion. He collected small contributions for his work. Missionary John Wolf labored 365 days, traveled 3,735 miles, preached 240 sermons, baptized 27 persons, received into 35 churches, attended 36 church meetings. Children of the frontier. Life on the frontier was a struggle, and every family member contributed down to the youngest child. Children could fetch water from the well or stream, feed the chickens, or get wood for the fire. Schoolhouses and teachers were a rarity, and many children learned to read and write from the family Bible or a relative that shared their letters. However, there was still time to play. Children of the frontier used their imaginations and supplies from the homestead to make their own games and entertainment, including dolls made from corn husks, rags, homemade clay marbles. Large gatherings occurred, such as court days or barn raising. Children had the opportunity to play with their neighbors' kids. A full house.
Henry,
Ever wanted more siblings? Well, that was not a problem in Frontier, Arkansas.
Maddie, please help Essie and William get ready for bed.
Mom, are you reading prayers tonight?
Of course. Don't I always?
Henry, now that you're through with the firewood, please put new candles in the lanterns.
Yes, Dad.
Everyone, let's gather around the fireplace to pray together and ask the Lord for his continued blessings. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is.
It has been a good day. Good night to all.
Just lift the lid and look, Dodo.
I'll stoke this fire one last time while you
Full breakfast biscuits with home churned butter, fresh cream, bacon, eggs, and beans.
I have another log here, like you wanted, Mom.
Maddie, did you get me those fresh greens from the garden?
Yes, Mom.
I will have to finish this later. Maddie, you need to
That was
add
a lot of
carrots
work.
to the soup.
Look, they had windows. They had a glass window. So the whole family lived here and the kids lived upstairs. I don't know if that's sandstone or limestone. And we have the big fish here. And look, we got a bear. And more mural. And what's this right here? It's a sandwich shop. Ugly cakes. I think I ought to try one of those ugly cakes. Oh, look at this. I forgot the frog. Check out this old building here. And look, they got a Norfolk Brewing Company. We got all kinds of stuff around here. I like these old wood stone buildings. The sandwich shop was so busy I didn't feel like waiting. This is a cool house and it's a rental. Twin Rivers Stone Cottage vacation rental. How about that? So this is where the two rivers meet. I assume this is the Norfolk. And that's the White River. Look at that railroad bridge.